How did you do that with your kids? And how early did you start some of those conversations about money and generosity, in particular with your kids?
Well, we started early on because we wanted them to know it all belongs to God. And so we did what other people have done. I talk about this in my book, Money, Possessions, and Eternity, and Managing God's Money as well. But we gave them these jars. And and so all the money they got would go in one jar or the other.
Mm,
So one was spending. It could be called other things. It could be just for stuff in general,
right.
but was spending. And then one was called saving, and one was called giving. And so immediately in those days, we would say, so now you take 10%, and we talked about what that means, as a minimum, and put it in the giving jar. Now, girls, we give significantly more than 10% away, but 10% would just be, that was the Old Testament minimum. So we're just,
Starting
thinking in
line.
terms
Yeah.
of a starting place. If
Right.
you want to put more than that in, if you want to put half or more of it in it, you can.
Yeah.
But then you'll have less in spending and saving, and that's
Yeah.
fine. So
Yeah.
whatever you want to do, you decide with your jars. And so they used those for years. And
Mm,
it was a way of just looking at, money. And in terms of the family, we got them involved in conversations early on where we would say, I remember one trip, we had a wonderful trip that we were talking about going on to Hawaii. There is nothing wrong with going to Hawaii. We have paid to go to Hawaii a number of times, just to go on record. Okay. All right. Yes, we do
disclaimer.
have friends
Yeah.
that have a free place over there they let us use. And you know what? If you can convince your friends to move to Hawaii and you can come over and visit them, that's a nice arrangement. But that was just in the provision of God. But
Yeah.
the point is this.
Yeah.
Um, we looked at it and we thought about it. And we said, this big amount of anticipated money came in. And at first we thought we could take the family trip to Hawaii.
Mm,
Wouldn't have been wrong.
yeah.
But then we said, girls, what do you think? Here's some other things we could do with it. And the other things had to do with giving it away
Mm,
and helping needy children
mm,
and helping with an orphanage in Africa and
yeah.
doing different things. I said, just let's talk about it. What do you think
Yeah.
that we should do?
Yeah.
And they said, well, let's give it to the orphanage. Let's do it. Give it to the, and
Wow.
all this kind of stuff. And I said, and then we could go still on a great vacation, but here on the mainland and drive to it
Right.
and save a lot of money
Yeah.
and that we can then give away. And so they participated in that decision. And I'll tell you this, with all the things that have happened in our life that I won't go into, but for 20 years having to make minimum wage and some other
Yeah.
things, they could have resented us if we had not included them in the giving decisions and had they not taken ownership of it
Mm,
themselves,
mm,
which
yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
So it was their hearts that were being blessed. It was their hearts that were investing in eternity along
Yeah.
with us.
Yes.